What's going on, miners? ChumpChangeXD here. I am here with Mike Red Fox and Mr. Hobbyist Miner. How you guys doing today?
Doing
I'm
good.
tired.
That's
I'm so
awesome.
tired.
Dude,
Old
me
man,
too.
old man Red Fox. Old man Red Fox.
This is the Mining Roundtable, episode 13. For those of you wondering, feel free to not watch them in order, as we were just discussing. But we like to pronounce the number we're on. So let's get into this. I guess. What have you guys been up to? I mean, Hobbyist, you just got back from Vegas, man. How was that?
It was good. It was good. It was a little odd having someone else sit in your seat, you know. But
Right.
Seb did an awesome job. You guys were awesome. I mean, we all knew that it would be fluid and really click. So that was good. It was nice change of pace. I really enjoyed kind of tuning in and kind of seeing how things work. And now we know too, like we can continue doing this weekly. And if somebody can't make it, not a big deal. We just pivot. We grab somebody and we kind of go from there. But no, Vegas was good. I was out there for work, training up a new employee. I used to go out there about twice a year for work. And with COVID, just kind of that all kind of got pulled back with travel and stuff. So that's finally been lifted at our company recently. So now I'll probably be out there about twice a year. But it was good. I got to one casino, so that was fun. That was nice. I know Chump Change gave me a hard time. I went to a Red Rock Casino, which was really nice, where that's located at, and had a good time there. Had probably the most expensive steak I'll ever eat. Company dime, I didn't pay for it.
It's always the best, right? When it's free.
Yeah, I was out with two other executives, and the one was paying, so I was like, all right, cool, you're good. But no, it was a good time. It was a nice refresher. Even though I was really keeping up with things. In Vegas, everything is 30 minutes away. You want to go 2 miles, it's 30 minutes. You want to go 10 miles, it's 30 minutes. Because everything was I want to go here. Well, I have to go whoop up and around. So I took a lot of time to catch up on things. I caught up on some of Red Fox's live streams, which was nice. I could just throw it on in the car and listen. Caught up on the roundtable. So it was a nice, change of pace of life. But at the same time, was able to kind of keep up to date with the scene and stuff like that. So yeah, things have been good the last, I guess, week and a half or so since we did the last episode together.
Did you see any crypto? Did you see any crypto related stuff out there? Anything? I always look for
yeah, a lot of stuff at casinos, a lot of the ATM stuff and things like that. You see that out there. Some of your billboardy stuff, with what is it? FTX is the one brand, kind of that getting pushed a lot with that platform, especially out in Vegas. Billboards are everywhere, every side of every building. A lot of the big casinos downtown on the strip in Vegas, they have these massive digital billboards that are always crazy, playing all these different things, and a lot of that advertisements were on there. So yeah, I definitely saw a lot of that, which was kind of cool. Going back 3 years ago, that wasn't an everyday thing, to see that advertised. So especially somewhere like Vegas, where money and currency and gambling, and I think a lot of people put it. I think a lot of uncomfortable individuals put crypto and gambling side by side, and it can be to a degree if you treat it that way. If you treat it more as an investment, it's definitely a little bit different for you.
Absolutely. Well, quick congratulations to you for hitting 50K while you were gone. We couldn't really celebrate it while you were away, but
I heard you mention it last episode.
Congrats,
I was
congrats.
I was at least Chump Change cares. I see how it is.
No, dude, it's a milestone and a half. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely great. And you're doing a giveaway soon, right?
Yes, on Thursday at 6:30. We're gonna kick things off. Should be a lot of fun. I have almost 20 giveaways to give away just to the live stream. So we'll be using YouTube's comment picker and stuff like that. And then I'm doing a whole nother set of giveaways at 8 o'clock that night to allow people that can't make it to at least enter. And that's then awesome. in order to kind of thank the live audience, I'm actually going to be dropping. I have 10 different secret codes. So they're actually going to give you 10 additional entries. So if you grab them, you can use multiple. So I'll drop one and everybody on the stream could use it. So if you're there that night, you literally can get up to 100 additional entries just by being there on the live stream. So, but I still want to think about people that can't make it, so you at least can have a chance. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got a bunch of sponsors for it. And yeah, it'll be fun. I've never done something of this magnitude of this many sponsors, this many giveaways. It's just going to be it's going to be fun. I'm not going to talk about anything else though. I mean, it's going to be all giveaways the whole time.
Just let it happen, man. That's awesome, dude. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Mike, what have you been up to, man? What's going on with you?
Painting my living room.
Yeah, how's that going?
come to my basement for me. Thanks.
Dude, painting is like, it's one of those things like,
dude.
You like when it's done, but you hate doing it.
Yeah, man. Especially, we moved in this house like 5 years ago, and I painted the whole thing. And then I painted, when we had my son, I painted his room because it was pink. And then I had to obviously change the color because we're having a boy. And then now I'm painting the living room. So I painted this house 1.5 times in 5 years, it feels like. But in the crypto space, I haven't been up to much. But one of the things that I did is probably a little different for me. And we were talking about this a little earlier, is I really dove into everything that's happening with Ethereum. And it's kind of like opened another world to me to like really start being curious and understanding Ethereum as a thing besides just like mining revenue. And all of that starts with their move to proof of stake come in at some point, maybe summer, maybe later. But it was really interesting. I listened to the developers talk about it. I started like learning. A lot of it's over my head, but I just started really diving into that world to try to understand as much as I could and learn. And I actually really enjoyed it. It gave like another angle to this whole thing that I've been involved in for so long that I really enjoyed. And, I'll say for me too, in the past, when I wasn't doing YouTube and mining wasn't absolutely wild, I would spend a lot of time learning and diving into projects. And it just gives you this extra like belief in it. Sometimes, maybe other times you're like, I don't really think this is something for me, but just getting behind something and peeling back the layers was really cool. So that's something I did different. And I was pretty, I didn't know if I was going to do a video on it because I feel like I'm not the most like well-rounded individual in terms of that space, but I did. And it seems like it was well received. Just try to not give my opinions as much, but just present information as I understand it and through the filter, of a GPU miner, just like the rest of us. So that was something that was really fun, but it took a lot of time. I mean, listening to the call was 1.5 hours. Sitting down, doing all the research was probably 2 hours, and then I did a couple takes on the video. So I'm talking like, probably all said and done to just do myself and the topic justice, maybe 5 hours of putting time into it, which is something that, I could be a little apprehensive to diving in because, to do 5 hours worth to put out a 10-minute video, but that's just what I felt like doing. And hopefully, it seems like people liked it. So just anyway, it's something a little different. I don't know how often I'll do that stuff. I still like to get my hands in GPUs, just like both of you, but that was something that was a little different for me.
Yeah, I think you actually did a really good job of taking it from Ethereum dev talk and like project talk and then converting it to the value of a GPU miner. Like, I think that's where that value is like people that aren't listening to those entire calls. You kind of picked out the things of importance and then converted it to what was most valuable as a miner. And I think it was good. It was really good. I mean, I think it's fun to get behind projects. I try to listen as much as I kind of like the Flux calls and stuff like that, because, and now they have so much going on that it's always like crazy just to find out that like they're involved in this, and this. But I thought you did a good job with it. So nice work.
Thanks, dude. What have you been up to, Chump Change?
Mineral oil. That's it.
Everywhere.
It's been terrible. No, I was just actually editing the video right before this call. I got it uploaded, so I just got to do some stuff with it. But I mean, it's all right. It's all right. It was a lot of work for little reward at the end of the day, but it was still a good video. At least I learned a few things. And mineral oil sucks to cool. That's pretty much the moral of the story there. But that's really it, man. And yeah, kudos to you for doing awesome on that video because Max Voltage gave you a shout out. So again, like I already told you,
it. I quit YouTube now. I got a Max Voltage shout out.
I'm out.
That's it.
He literally deleted his video because he was like, I can't beat that. He's like, he did such a good job. I was like, damn, well, don't tell him that. Cool. He's not going to make the round table getting through the door in the friggin' bedroom or wherever the hell he's at. So he was pretty happy with it. But he's like, funny. I just deleted it, moved on to the next thing. But
so curious on your mineral oil though. Looking at what you've done and what you've learned, is it something that you would do on a larger scale down the road? Or like if, like would you recommend it, or are you like, don't even touch it? Like just looking at as a home miner.
I wouldn't, only because like the way mineral oil works is it literally like it just absorbs the heat, and then trying to get it out, unless you have what I've been reading anyways, like a proper like chiller unit, which would be like a water tower more or less. It'd be like a pyramid with fins, and you just drop cold water on it and it would disperse and cool off, that would probably be the best way to cool that stuff. But you would have to have a lot of liquid and a lot of room basically to do something like that. And it just, I mean, to cool, just to cool a GPU, it's kind of foolish. I just buy a server case. You know what I mean? It just makes more sense.
Yeah, because I remember looking when BBT was originally getting into immersion cooling like some time ago, and he was posting up pictures and stuff. And
like,
he had
cool. It's so cool.
He had the giant tanks, and then he was like piping it outside to whatever, I guess, as you said, a chiller or whatever it is, or his radiators were outside there, and then piping it back in. It really intrigues me as a home miner of like, all the heat stuff that we deal with and like airflow and all of that. And if it's like, man, is that an actual solution? But it sounds like, one, you're putting a lot of money into the cooling, which you do the same with like at home cooling, I mean, look at all of us messing with it. So it just makes me curious, like, man, if I bought the biggest badass fish tank and just built this in my basement, and went to town on the cooling, like, would it, I'm just kind of curious. That's all.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fun project. Don't get me wrong. But like at the end of the day, it's going to ruin everything you put in it. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to eat away the plastic. And that's, you got to think about that. You got to be willing to lose whatever you're putting in there, because I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, I don't know how long people have been doing mineral oil, but I know there is a legit liquid. I forget what it's called, but it's like $300 a gallon. It's ridiculously expensive. Like, I'm not buying that. I'd rather just test it with these $10 jugs and call it a day, or whatever, $20 jugs, whatever they cost. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I might do a few more things on it, but I'm not going to bring it too much further. All right. So we had a couple questions from Discord. I actually reached out to a couple people. And I guess the first question was, do you guys think the merge is going to be delayed? That was like the first one. So I'm like, all right, I guess we'll bring it up. Mike, you're probably the best one to answer this since you did all the digging. Do you have any opinion, or do you not want to talk about it? You can totally tell me no.
Watch my video.
It's cool. It's cool. And that's like the thing. I was like, so like, it's interesting because Bits Be Trippin' his strong opinion is that it'll be delayed till like December. Like, he keeps repeating that, and he is way more knowledgeable from me as far as like development. That's what he's done as a career, is led teams. That being said, like, personally, I'm planning for the summer based on stuff I heard on that call, based on their checklist, based on what's coming up. I think if they hit every mark and there's no huge bug found, then I think reality is it could be here in June, July. It's all based on if they move to a public test net and spin up, the merge, and then something breaks, then there's a delay. If it doesn't, then, full steam ahead is everything that I've seen, at least from what I've learned so far. So for me, it's like, I think it could happen. I think it's realistic. It could happen. It all just depends on will there be a bug found. But I guess the thing that I'm not relying on so much is that they're behind schedule. I don't know if they're behind schedule from what I've seen. It just now all depends on, does everything go according to plan? And if it does, I think they'll hit their target. If it doesn't go according to plan, then, obviously it'll be delayed. And I do like what Bits Be Trippin' said is, you don't want to just delay it like a month and just keep kicking the can down the road. Might as well just push it, another 6 months, another couple quarters to give yourself some time, so you're not, the project always kicking the can down the road. So I do think if there's some bugs found, something happens when they move to some of these public test nets, or if they spin up another dev net, then we'll see maybe an announcement of a new time. Maybe they'll change the website to say like Q4. But otherwise, I think they're on target to make it happen. from what I've seen. So that's what I'm using to plan by personally. It's kind of depressing, but it also, I think for anybody, is probably the smartest thing to do is plan for that to happen based on your situation.
Right. Just expect the worst, more or less, and then hopefully we get the best. We'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, you said they've been planning on it since day one. So at the end of the day, we can't really be too mad because it's always been their plan. I mean, I know it sucks for us as miners, but
yeah.
Again,
I don't think, you know, they had any idea that it would grow to the scale that it's at right now with the amount of GPU miners, with literal warehouses full of GPUs mining for them. And I don't envy them, man. That's got to be so, I would be scared out of my mind doing this merge. Scared out of my mind. Go ahead, dude.
I was gonna say, I think the price prediction is gonna be like the big one, just as you had said. Like you had mentioned it. You have right now, it's in a, I want to call it a healthier place, you know, with the price of it and how it's kind of become this kind of stepson to Bitcoin and everything like that. And you know, from there, and this merge, pivoting it from proof of stake, like this isn't something that happens often in this space. So it's like, who knows where that's going to go? But is it going to pop and all of a sudden Ethereum is going to go up? Maybe. But what if it pivots the other way? And now all of a sudden you've almost killed your project, you know, like that I think is the riskier one. Just as you had mentioned there, it's like, who knows where it's going to go? I mean, you know, we're almost, I was just looking now, we're at like almost 2,900, which is awesome. Like, let's keep that upward momentum. Things are looking good. Personally, I would say, I think Mike made a really good point. I'm planning for July. Like, and if it doesn't happen, great. You know, like, I love it. I'll keep mining Ethereum, and it's more profitable for us as GPU miners, and let's keep that going right now. I am also a little excited for the fact of like Ethereum disappears from the mining aspect, goes proof of stake. Then what? Like, I haven't experienced anything like that. Like, all of a sudden now crypto is more mainstream. There's a lot of other algorithms out there. Where does profitability go? I mean, think of it. Day one, hour one, and minute one. It's like, holy cow. Like, what's that going to be like? You know, I don't know what that's going to be like. I mean, where's things going to shift? Where's it going to go? I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, the first few hours are there's no playbook for this. There's no like, all right, Red Fox, make sure you take 50% of your farm and go to Flux, and the other 50% Ethereum Classic. And it's like, no, it's kind of just where you're hoping it's going to pivot to. So, I mean, I've heard a few people talk about like, oh, I want to swap back to Windows and do like nice hash just so that I'm getting paid out in something like Bitcoin. But imagine that, and all of a sudden, like Ravencoin's most profitable, and now your whole farm's mining Ravencoin. Like, you can't handle that heat. Yeah,
and melting.
yeah. So it's just, it's nutty. It's nutty because it's like there's no playbook for this at all.
Yeah, I would have to move. If I have to mine Ravencoin, I will have to move because of my electric bill. There's no chance. No chance. Oh my gosh. The only thing that really worries me is ETC, because a lot of the ASIC miners apparently can have a software update, and now they can mine ETC just like they were mining ETH. And what happens now? So I don't know. Mike, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm curious too, because at some point in the next few months, we're going to get a date. And I'm interested in what happens when we get that. So we get a date. So now people know it's real. It's happening. It's happening on this day. Say it was a month from today. That's it. Like, everything's done. And a month from today, the code is put in there and Ethereum will no longer be able to be mined. Like, that moment, I'm very curious to see what happens. I think you'll see.
Tears.
You know, but yeah,
we're all gonna cry.
Is it a date or is it a block?
It's going to be, what do they call it? It's something else.
So they said something about a block height, but I don't understand, or it's whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, the way it's going to, I think it's going to work like it did on the DevNet, and it's not a block height. It's like a terminal difficulty. I can't remember the exact. It's actually, really? Yeah, it's interesting the way it works.
Does Vitalik ever make sense, I guess? Does anything make sense, like, really, when it comes to all this stuff?
They talked about it on that call, where like why they usually would pick a block height, but that this is different. I don't know if it's just for the DevNet or if it'll be that way too. I can't remember, but
they're too smart for us, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens at that point. Is everything just going to keep going? do you see the net hash start dropping as people are selling off GPUs? Do you see people preemptively moving to other networks? I don't really know if that would happen that much. And then do you see some price action happen on these other networks kind of leading up to that is what I'm really curious to see.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, dude, I really, at that part I'm fascinated about. And then obviously, like you said, Hobbyist, okay, if it's a block height and the block height hits and that's it, boom, you're done. That's just going to be, is it going to be like a smooth kind of roll to other projects because there's been a run up, or is it going to be like a complete just disaster of everything, and people are like running around screaming, holding GPUs? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, I think the big thing, the big thing you got to think about is like, let's say like it's announced like 2 months from now, like, hey, we're good for July, whatever it is. Okay. So then you got to think of it like that. It's like, okay, a lot of people, I think, will pivot onto these other algorithms in order to get in now when the hash rate difficulty, like the difficulty is lower, so that you can get, because think of it, like all of a sudden you find out what it is and you're like, all right, I'm going to pivot. Let's say like Ethereum Classic, like we brought it up there. It's like, I'm going to mine it now when the difficulty is X, because once the actual proof of stake happens, now you're going to see a flood, so that difficulty is going to go through the roof. So now you're not as profitable. So like, that where I think you're going to get a trickle effect. I think it's going to help. Like, I think you're going to naturally start to see that kind of wave off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, even right now in the last week, we've seen a lot with just everything, all the merge talk. You're starting to see some of these other algorithms start to be more profitable. Like, I've been following Ethereum Classic pretty good. It's up 48.9% in the last 2 weeks. Oh yeah. Ethereum Classic is up. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm still mining it on my 12/470s, and I'm happy to see that. You know, it's like, all right, cool. You know, Ergo's up. Ergo like hit a dump, and now it's, you know,
dude, that thing took such a dump, and it was like so depressing. So I'm like, this was so awesome a couple months ago. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just some of those things that you look at, and you're just like, okay, like I can get behind some of this. It's just, you know, I love and I'm fascinated by the altcoins and like where things go from here. So that's why, because that's going to be our world. Like, that's going to be our world for a time period until, you know, the next king of proof of work kind of naturally comes up. I know. You know, Red Fox is over there, like Firo and Flux. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, Flux especially. Hey, I have a question. Yeah. So let's do this. Hypothetically, we'll start with Chump Change. Say Ethereum right now announced in 1 month they are going proof of stake. What would your plan be right now, Chump Change? Would you start switching stuff over? Would you still mine Ethereum? What would you be thinking?
Personally, I'd still mine Ethereum, only because I feel like people would start switching, and in hopes that, you know, the difficulty goes down, maybe rewards would get better. But I don't know. It's kind of, it's up though, because you really don't know if people would do that or not. Realistically, my electric bill wouldn't like me if I moved too far from ETC or ETH. So I think I'd be forced to stay there until I can't. You know what I mean? Until my arm's twisted, basically. I mean, what about you guys? Would you jump ship before, or?
Go ahead, Hobbyist. What do you think?
I'd leave probably one rig on Ethereum, only because of the fact of, like, as I said, we don't know if Ethereum's going to pivot upward or downward. You know, you don't know. I mean, just because the merge happens doesn't automatically mean it's going to, you know, be more valuable. I mean, I think the devs are hoping that in that regard, and they go that direction because of supply and demand and everything. But I don't know. Part of me feels like they're, you know, driving their project to the grave. So for me, I'd probably leave one rig on ETH, and then I'd probably start kind of continuing the path I'm going, which is, you know, I got my Ergo rig, I got my ETC rig going. I got one of my rigs mining Ethereum to BTC. And then, you know, I'd probably start pushing Flux a little bit more. That at least just keeps my portfolio a little more diversified. Because right now it's nice. Like, when I'm checking my wallets, everybody's getting a ding every few days. So it's like, awesome. Everybody's, you know, those wallets are growing. I mean, I checked my Ergo for the first time in forever. And I was like, holy cow, like, fantastic. I love it. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, that it helps to solidify it. So I think I'd cut back on Ethereum quite a bit. What about you, Red Fox?
I would mine Ethereum until the last moment. 100%. Yeah, everything. Yeah, unless it got really unprofitable for some reason that it just didn't make sense. But I would mine it until last moment because Ethereum just historically the price has gone up dramatically. Also, my Ethereum can be locked up to make more Ethereum in staking. So even if if you got your 32 ETH or you don't, you're just going to be staking pools and all that. So I would just go until the last possible moment. Everything on ETH, just thinking about that.
Right. So how does proof of stake, like how would it make it more profitable? Is there a reason behind it?
It's security based, as last I heard, correct? Like that was the pivot towards it.
Make it more make it
more worth more. Like why would they think the price would probably drive higher by going to proof of stake?
Well, I think part of the thought is miners are selling, which I'm one of them. I sell some Ethereum. So there is sell pressure provided by miners, especially big miners who have, operation expenses and all that stuff. So they're thinking that maybe won't happen.
Not big, but I have expenses.
Yeah, and then
awful.
Second, I guess the incentive to hold, because you have to lock up your ETH in a node, that it takes that ETH off the market. But that's what I'm thinking about right now too, is like how many people that are mining or that are buying are really just holding, knowing that they want to run a node, that they want to hit 32 ETH or whatever their goal is, knowing what's coming down the road. Is that why the price is doing, is up where it's at? Because there really isn't a lot of selling happening. I haven't looked at any of this data, but just thinking about it. And then when you go into running nodes, like the incentive is to hold on to your Ethereum so you can gain more Ethereum with it, versus a GPU, just lock up your ETH to get more. So thinking about that, why would you be selling it for any other reason than to just do a trade or cash out for a profit, versus your operations expense on running a node is going to be minimal. I think you could run them on Raspberry Pis and stuff, or you can have a service run it for you so cheap.
Yeah.
So
for
I think
Ethereum node?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I think just in that sense, if you take the miners out of the equation, there's just got to be less selling. But I could be missing something there. But that's some of the stuff I've been thinking about, and that's why I think that some of the thought is why the price would go up is because of that.
All right. So there was actually a question in Discord as well about running nodes. Do you guys plan on doing that? Because me personally, it scares the crap out of me to put anything into a node. I mean, I have the RTM node or whatever on iNodes, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't care about that coin. So whatever, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If it makes you money, it makes you money. It's just sitting there. But locking up 32 Ethereum, for one, that's a lot of Ethereum. That's a lot of money. Yeah. It's 90 grand or something right now. It's insane. Crazy. And then just the Flux nodes, right? I know you can put it on the Raspberry Pi because max voltage. I'm put that stuff on a Game Boy. What the hell's going on over there? What if your kid spills juice on it? You're screwed.
Dude, I run my Ethereum node on my Tamagotchi, man.
Oh man, there you go. That's awesome.
It scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely definitely an avenue I want to go with Flux. I mean, the nice thing is I don't think they've announced them. They haven't pivoted yet, right? Mike, they haven't gone to the new Flux node structure.
They might have.
Yet.
They did, yeah. They did.
They did?
I'm a little behind.
Something, yeah.
Okay, so
put it into the Pi or whatever. I think that's what Max did.
Yeah, I think they did.
It was 5. It was they haven't done the 5 Flux yet. I know that. I thought that was the
might be later.
Phase. But I mean, I'm definitely interested. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. They have a variety of ones that are out there that are definitely obtainable. I mean, I haven't been mining Flux long, and I compare it to somebody like Red Fox here, who's been mining it for years, versus me, I'd say 6 months maybe, when I first bought those cards from Red Fox, and actually that was my first Flux rig. I like the idea of being able to, you could tie up the Flux, so it's great. I'd hold it anyway, so I wasn't going to sell it, so you're just tying it up. It's collateral. You just tie it up. So let's say you do the 10,000 or I think there's 1,000 or 5,000, whatever. You tie it up, and then it ends up becoming part, your node becomes part of that network, which is awesome. That's why it becomes so bulletproof. And then you're earning on it. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I saw some great actual like profits from these nodes.
Yeah.
Like when I was looking at these, it's up there off of what you can actually make off of these nodes, which is phenomenal. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, it's just like any of the staking now that you do. It's just you're staking in a different method, which is the node, but there's tech behind it. You're not staking it somewhere else. You're doing it on your own. So, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty cool. I feel like a lot of people have been asking for like a one-click setup for the nodes. I was listening to one of the dev calls. I'm like, oh, I just want a one-click setup. Like I could run it off my Windows box, one-click setup. And they actually aren't looking to go that. They don't want to do that because they don't want it to be that basic. That, they want some, there'd be some difficulty behind it just because of the sheer factor of they don't want everybody in their brother running it because they want stability. Like you got to have your node up. You can't have your node down for a certain amount of, you can't just have it like your desktop computer and it's down, 50% of the time. You actually have to have it up. So that's one of the big ones there. So I haven't decided if I want to run it in-house or like a VPS or not. What are you running now on your? I know you have a Flux node now, Red Fox, and then what are your plans for expanding that?
Yeah, it's on a VPS. It's on it's on one. So and same thing with Ethereum too, and Flux. You got to have an uptime.
Yep.
A certain. I don't know what the stats are. Whether it's 99.9% uptime, or else you'll you could get slashed. Is something that some proof of stake networks do, which they'll just take your money away from you because you're not contributing. So there's like an incentive to make sure you have a good server, or you're not getting the rewards or whatever, because the whole point is that you're up all of the time contributing to whatever this node network is doing, whether it's computational power or something else, or validating transactions, whatever it is. But I just think even if you're not like, I'm fascinated by all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to run Ethereum node. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm like, going to figure all that out, but 100%. And it's all like Flux and Ethereum, it's all done via smart contracts. So, it's you're safe as much as you trust those network smart contracts. If your VPS or your Raspberry Pi goes down, you don't lose, your ETH or your Flux. It's still tied up in the smart contract. And I don't remember what I was going to say after that. So
I was just curious on what you were planning to do. Were you going to continue to do? Were you going to continue to do like VPSs with the new node structure as you expand?
I don't know. I gotta look into it, dude. It's on the like forever list.
Well, so like I guess right now the whole 32 ETH staking, right? There's no way to get it back if you do it now, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, because it's on Beacon Chain, is the proof of stake chain that's been live for I don't know, a couple of years. So there's no going back until the merge happens.
But is there like good payouts right now before that happens, or?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you just
because I don't even know.
Yeah, you do. I got some on Coinbase.
I remember you saying that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same type deal. It's the same kind of staking. What is it? A pool that you do over there, or?
Yeah. So you can just do, I don't know, like the smallest amount ever, and it just you're staking it and you're getting interest. The problem is that you can't undo the conversion to ETH2. So that's it. You got to be knowing I'm holding on to this ETH for a long time.
You're in.
And I think if I remember, even after the merge happens, there's still going to be a time period until those funds can be available back to you again. It's not going to be
it makes sense.
Merge happens, Beacon Chain and all that stuff, and you get your ETH2. It's like then there's still additional development that has to happen to unlock those funds. So I didn't really realize that. And so I'm like, oh, I got some ETH I want to make up for that I locked up that I won't have available for a node, but I guess it's still okay because it's still like partially, it's kind of like in a staking pool versus running a whole 32 ETH node.
So how you have the money or your ETH in Coinbase, right? That doesn't have to have any specific uptime because it's just Coinbase, right? Like it's just they deal with it.
Yeah, and this is where you kind of get down like the road. And Bisbee Trippin, I'll credit him. He talks a lot about this. So you have to have an uptime. So what does that do? Then you're incentivized to use a service that guarantees you uptime.
Yep.
So whether then you're on AWS or Google servers or Coinbase, whatever they use, like it makes sense. You're like, I want this uptime. I don't want to risk my ETH. But then what happens? Then all that stuff is centralized in one place. And that's like part of the argument against proof of stake, along with many other things. There's arguments both ways. Try to be fair to both sides, but that is one of them. Makes sense for me. I don't want to lose my ETH. I'll go put it on Amazon web server, and then I'm good. But then everybody else did too. Yep. And what if that goes down? Then the whole Ethereum network goes down. I don't know. So that's just something else to consider,
It's very similar to like what you run into now in the tech space, where like all of a sudden AWS has an issue, and it's like, wait, why are all these things not working? And then you go to Down Detector, and it's like, wait, all 20 of these platforms use AWS's backbone. It's like, oh shit, like there it is right there. Like that is a good example of how like that you could talk about like decentralization. It's like, nope, we're all centralized on either Azure or AWS. So when one of them has an issue, look at all these things that are affected. I mean, it happens like, you see like Microsoft Teams when Azure's having an issue, or you look at like Slack or Discord and all of that. Like that's my first stop now. Whenever I have a platform issue, I'm like, oh, let's go to Down Detector. Oh, wait, look at all these.
What server do you think Down Detector's running off of?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Not Azure and not, no, definitely. It's, I mean, it's fascinating because I think you can actually really make some good money. Like, I know there's people out there that literally just buy enough crypto in order to get the nodes. So they spend the money, they get the nodes, and then they just run off of nodes. So they're not running off of GPUs, not running off of ASICs. They just have node structure, and they're literally just making the money off of that. And like, there's people that do that as well. That's a whole nother avenue to go. I mean, think of it. At the end of the day,
I quit mining. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean,
doing that. That makes freaking sense, actually. If you think about it, like, why would you want to waste all this electricity when you could essentially do that? It makes
you could.
Well, that's the other. I mean, the other. And I've talked about this before, probably with both of you, is you gotta, if you're just putting your crypto, all of your crypto that you mine in a wallet and just looking at it, then you're probably doing it wrong. And you got to get that money making more money for you. Right. And running nodes is certainly a great way to do that. And that's why I love Flux, Firo, soon Ethereum. Like, you can put your mined crypto to work for you. It's just like, it's the coolest thing. You can buy a piece of hardware to make you money, and then you can take that money it made you and make more money with that money, and then put that money also to work making more money for you. It just
compound it.
Like, guys, we're gonna be all right. Like, those yachts are gonna be there in a couple of years for us, pulling in, mining round table logo on the side, and everybody's invited. But
I like
that's,
it. Right.
I mean, that's one of the things that I still haven't done as much as I want to do, and it's hard to keep track of when things are in all these different places. But getting your money to make more money is it's what you got to do. And I think nodes and all that stuff is an amazing way to do that, along with all the other DeFi and stuff we don't have enough time to look into. That's other ways to do that,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, DeFi is one of those things. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's funny you talk about like putting your like crypto to work. It's like, man, I just bought my first Nano Ledger X today. So it's like really funny where you're like, don't put it on. And I'm like, oh God, I just bought one today. Dang it. Like, well, I'm not listening. But yeah, I finally pulled the trigger and bought one today. And it makes me laugh, the fact that you're saying that. Like,
I mean, there's got to be a bag that you hold, as a safety. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, definitely dabble and mess around with some things. That's definitely smart to try to make more money on top of money you already have. But you do need to have some assurance that you could, go back and take that money out if something ever happened to the node or the network or just whatever, like wherever it is. If something ever happened and you can't get it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just you just reminded me. So one of the things I did do this last week is I put 2 years ago, a year and a half to 2 years ago, I put the equivalent of 2 Ethereum into Uniswap DeFi.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And I like knew it was there. I used to track it, and I haven't looked at it in a year and a half. Easy year and a half.
Wow.
And the way all that works is you get as people swap. So I did some of it. The pairing that I had was Ethereum and then wrapped BTC, which is like BTC on the Ethereum network. So it was split up. So anybody that traded between those two, I would get a cut of the fee in relation to how much I provided to that liquidity pool. And so I was like, I wonder how much Ethereum I've made in fees, you know, in all that time. It's like 0.2 ETH, you know, which is like, that's 0.2 ETH I wouldn't have had before.
It worked for you. It worked for you.
You know, and it's just, I just let it sit there for all that time, you know, and what was the price of Ethereum 2 years ago compared to what it is now? So, but that's just like kind of just taking a little bit and learning, I think, is probably my recommendation for everybody. And I agree with you, Chump Change. Like, I have stuff on my Ledger NOS locked away that I haven't put into anything, but just learning, because one day, what if you can't mine Ethereum anymore? You want to be caught, you know, what do I do now? So that's where my mindset is I need to learn how to do a lot of this stuff so I can make sure that I can keep going financially into the future, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, that's a really good idea. I think there's a space within the YouTube content creation area that is lacking. And I think a lot of that is making your crypto work for you. And it would be awesome to do YouTube videos on it. The hard part is the security aspect, where it's like showing how to do it means that you're, you know, like what are you gonna like blur out half your screen the entire video? Like
3 days of editing, blurring things out.
That was like when I was doing the video on like setting up the Dogecoin miner, and you can relate probably to it, Chump Change, and I get to like the F2 pool part, and I'm like, all right, now go over to F2 pool and get it set up. And I had all these people like, why didn't you show us how to do it on F2 pool? Because it's a little confusing. And it's like, because I'd blur out 99% of my screen the entire time that I'm showing everything under the sun. Which is yours up and running, Mike? You got your Doge? Oh, nice, awesome.
It's rolling.
Get a little bit every few days, actually. A little Litecoin, a little Dogecoin.
I just got a payday 12 minutes ago. My phone went off.
The only problem is I don't think I can't figure out a way to change my payout threshold for Doge. So it's like a lot of transactions. Whereas Litecoin, I just set it super high. So like it pays me out once every couple months. So I'm not tracking all that stuff for taxes. But Doge seems
for Doge all the time.
Yeah, so I don't really like that too much, but it's.
I did. I just set up one today. Actually my fourth one I got in. And of course this one's RGB. It's like, all right, now I got 2 that are RGB, 2 that aren't at all. I'm like, God, there's no rhyme or reason to this stupid thing. But yeah, I actually did this one on pool-in versus my other 3 are on F2 pool. Just was curious of how that would work out and things like that. But nice.
I think you can auto convert to BTC on pool-in, if I'm not
mistaken. And you can also have your Dogecoin convert to straight Litecoin too. I saw during pull-in, like you could say just pay that out all in Litecoin if you're not even interested in it. So it is in there. It's a little wonky with some of the pools, like getting them set up with those Dogecoin miners. I mean, but once you get it down, it works out nicely. The other thing I was curious on, did anybody get in on the MNTD Helium miner?
Yeah, buddy.
Did you get one?
Club now. I got 2 of them. Yeah. Me and the missus.
Nice. Oh, there you go. You and the missus. Nice.
Yeah, dude. I'm so pumped. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm all in. Like, anything that's hard to get, I don't even care. I'm not even looking at ROIs or anything. I'm just like, this is hard to get. I've been in a queue system. I got picked. I'm buying it.
Yeah, I didn't do it because of the fact that like I have really been struggling on my phone because if I went back to when I originally bought it, I was making $15.50 a day, and I was like, this is phenomenal, like better than any GPU I got. And then over the last several months, really struggling on stability. And I got so frustrated where I was like, screw this thing. I had it on a wireless plug, and it would reboot once a week because I'm like, I guess that's what it needs. Like, what is going on? And then over the last like 3 weeks, it has been solid. Yeah. And finally I went and I was like, I'm not looking, the app sucks. So I finally went on the Helium Explorer, and I'm at almost about $8 a day still. And I'm like, all right, it's 50%. You know, I've lost a lot on it, but I did watch a lot of videos of some really good content creators out there on Helium. And they talked about how like the devs went ahead and split, like they cut down the amount of blocks that are being released every day in order to make some sacrifices, in order to, kind of support everything going on. And I'm like, all right, I can get behind this. This is cool. And then I was like, but I'm not buying another one because I can't stand how unstable this is. But I do have a few coming in though. I have some of I don't know if you guys have heard of the Sense Cap, the M1s.
Yep.
I have a brand that's partnering with me that's going to send me some and some to give away. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I decided not to buy any and start to try some of those out. But no, I'm excited for you. That's awesome, dude. Did you get the gold ones or the black ones, or which one did you get?
One of each.
Ooh,
and
okay.
yeah, so stay tuned for the video of me climbing my like 100-foot oak tree, and I'm putting an antenna on the top of it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Do it, dude. Do it. I hope you do.
Please do it. That's what so
here's the only downside. The only
10
downside.
out of 10, 100 views.
Red Fox is part raccoon. If you guys didn't know, he can climb trees. Just bare hands.
The downside with those is they're not PoE. You know, that's the only downside.
Yeah. I think you get an injector, cable. But I don't think that'll work.
No, so what you do is you end up, which is what I'm doing. Like mine's in my attic, and then I got an LMA cable, which is what you plug into the side for the antenna, and then that you run. But you really want the shorter the better in order for like quality. Like they're so sensitive. So now that mine's running good, next week I want to start. I have both the antennas. I've had the 5.8 and the 8 dB antenna for months. I want to start now testing them in my attic still, just to see like how does that work, how does it affect it, and then eventually once the weather's like really nice, I'll pull out the extension ladder and try to mount it. But no, I'm really happy for you. That's great.
Thanks, man. There's no like, I guess one question, I won't make this a whole Helium thing, but I am pumped. Is there like, do you get penalized if you have two like next to each other? Like, is it better? Like if I had one at my house and one at somebody else's house?
Yeah. Yeah, do that.
You want to have them in separate octagons. They're separate octagons is what you want to have them in. And so the more people in your octagon, think of it like profit splitting. So like, for you, it's not bad because it's if they're both your own, you're like, all right, fine, you're good. But you'll want to check and see. I've actually been amazed. I haven't really kept up with it, but I went and looked the other day, and like they've been popping up all around me. Thankfully, my octagon's still solo, good to go. But there's like two next to me that have two in each and stuff, and so I'm like, damn it, stay out. Like, don't get near me. Like, this is mine. So yeah, like if you have a relative or a family member, you could throw one on somewhere. Like that's the best way to go.
Well, I have like 3 other houses that I own, so I'm probably gonna put it there.
And the yacht, you can put it on your yacht. You're good, you know.
Perfect. Yeah, no, mine's been relayed for like weeks, and I just I can't get into the router that it's on because the kid that rents the place, he doesn't know his password and stuff for me to get in. I was like, dude, just F it. Just leave it. I don't even care if it's relayed. It's making like peanuts a day, but whatever. It's something. One of the other questions we had in Discord was HiveOS structure. How do you guys think that will be affected after the ETH POS?
Oh.
Just because it says it's $3 a rig on ETH and ETC and free on Hive on pool, so they will have to pivot to keep on making money. Are there other alternatives that we should consider? I don't know. I have no idea.
What else does Hive on? Can you mine other cryptocurrencies on Hive on, or is it just ETH? I don't actually.
Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic. You can as well.
So it's just those two, right?
I think it's just those two, which is really going to be interesting. I think what you're going to see is them spin up some more pools, and then they're just going to have their hands in everything. Like that would be the smart play because they don't know where the market's going to go. So it's like, all right, turn up a pool for Ravencoin and turn up a pool for Flux and all of these. I mean, it doesn't seem like I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it's that difficult. So it's like turn them up and then just they just take a little bit off of each one. You know, it seems like the natural way to go. But then everybody, then the downside is like, oh, I've been on HiveOn because I'm not mining Ethereum and it's free, and now everyone's getting charged. So that's going to be a hard business pivot for them, definitely.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense because for them to just spin up additional pools, I mean, it's not like they got to get people to use their pool. They're already on the platform, so like they would have a pretty substantial amount of hash rate from day one to be a competitive pool. Yeah, and I'm wonder why they haven't done that already. You know, I guess maybe just because Ethereum dominates so much. Yeah,
lazy, I guess. Maybe.
I think
I mean, why, if you're making money off Ethereum, why would you switch? I guess.
Well, the nice thing is they could very easily compete with a lot of the fees and just have their fees low or around that same mark. The thing, people are going to go to it because it's easy to use. Like it's HiveOS is already easy to use. So if you're just using their pool and their pool fees are reasonable and not like, oh my God, I never do that, then like, why would someone go elsewhere? It's all in one, all in one wheelhouse. So if they can make it worth it and actually come in at a lower fee, then they might have more people because you're already on Hivon. So yeah, it's probably a smart play. But yeah, I'm really curious on where they'll go with that, because all of a sudden I just hope they don't pivot to a like subscription model. Like, okay, now you just pay X amount per month type of deal and kind of go from there.
Right.
So I'm surprised they haven't, I'm surprised they haven't done more with like an auto conversion to Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They have such a huge user base. I feel like there's so much potential there.
Yeah, they could take so much from the one-click miners if they did that.
Yep.
Like so many people. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be a really good avenue for them to go down. I would definitely use it. I can tell you that. I would. I mean, if it was easier to just switch right to Bitcoin, like through HiveOS, why wouldn't you? I mean,
doing the conversions.
Even like some of the simple things that I like in some other platforms, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even something like seeing you can't see like your daily profitability in HiveOS, right?
No, I love that about OCTOMINER.
Yeah, that's like the stats exist, like they're out there. Yep. I wonder why some of those little things haven't been incorporated. Is it just because, like, if you're is their customer base, I would love to know, is their customer base mostly giant mining farms, like percentage-wise, if you looked at all of the hash rate, or is it residential miners with, like, 100 or less GPUs? Like, I'm curious, and they would know their audience better than anybody, and, like, does a huge GPU mining farm really need to see their daily profitability? Maybe, like, I would like to see mine. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd love for them to have that in HiveOS. I mean, you're talking about a wish list. I mean, I love the HiveOS interface, so I'd love for them to look at OCTOMINER and take some things from it. I mean, that's like what you're running there. I'd love to be able to go in and see my profitability per rig. I'd love to click a dashboard, and it's a beautiful dashboard laid out that shows you all your profits per day for everything. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I pulled the trigger on OCTOMINER. It's just the fact of, and I'm eager to do it because, like, I want to eventually, when my basement's done someday in 5 years from now, I want to hang a TV on the wall and have a little mini PC connected to it and just have that up and running. And it shows live stats on my rigs, up down statuses, profitability. It's like, that would be fantastic to do. But man, HiveOS, like, you do a lot of things really, really good, and then you're missing a ton of. It's almost like they almost have an identity crisis. Like, as you had said, what side of that coin are they kind of focusing on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it was. That was actually TPS Miner that asked that. So shout out to him.
TPS, my dude.
Yeah. He's actually. I'm actually going to be snagging the Helium miner he got.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we're going to
relay it again. Another relayed miner. You know?
Making my father take it, so I'm going to be putting it at his place. I'm like, here you go. This is your first dabble into crypto, because he doesn't understand any of it. So I'm like, you need to get into this, and this is how we're going to get you into it, with a little 5-watt freaking unit that you don't have to touch ever. You just plug it in and leave it alone. I'm like, I'll set it up, call it a day.
That's what I said to Mrs. Red Fox. I said, we each got one, so it's time to learn. We're going to have some fun together.
Nice. Oh, dude, no, don't. Really? You just shot yourself in the foot. All right, you know what I'm dealing with over here? Every time I build a rig, I'm going to build her one. I'm like, get out of here. I ordered 5 OCTOMINERs. She's like, one of them's mine. I'm like, get out of here. No, but actually, yeah, I just got 5 OCTOMINERs the other night.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Which ones? 8s or 12s?
I got the 12s because I'm going to be putting 1660s and stuff in there. As you can see, my Zotac cards are all breaking. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just waiting for all the fans to break. I'm like, I'm going to rip off all these shrouds. I'm just sticking them in OCTOMINERs.
Nice.
Done and done. So I think it's time. But
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, Chili, which ones do I need? I'm like, tell me what I need. And like, I'm like, I don't need much power. I'm like, I can literally run 12 cards, 13 cards off a single 1200 watt PSU. I'm like, it's pushing the limit, but it's there. And he's like, yeah, just the 2200 watt ones should be fine. They're like 3 750 watt units, I think, inside there, server PSUs. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Perfect. I'll just unplug one, call it a day, you know? But yeah, I'm excited about that because my grow tent was definitely it was working, but some of the cards were getting a little hotter than I would have liked.
What temps?
I was like, all right.
What temps you hit?
So my 5600s, right? Yeah. One of them was at like 102, and I'm like,
oh my god.
Memory VRAM.
The VRAM on it was not the core, not the core.
The core was melting.
The fire emoji wasn't there, so Yeti actually he looks at my rigs. He looked and he was like, "Hey, number 4 is on fire," and I'm like, I look like there's no emoji, and I click on it. I'm like, oh damn, the VRAM temps are terrible. But I got to do the pads on those. I've had to do them for like a year at this point. I'm like, I just got to rip them out and do it. But yeah, they sucked. But I don't know. I got to add a couple fans to that grow tent. But what do you guys got coming up? You got anything special, or you just? I know Red Fox just like stop asking me this question. I have nothing planned.
I got some stuff. I'll start. I'll go first.
All right, let's do it. What do you got?
Go for it.
I got my 8 GPU OCTOMINER delivered today, actually.
Nice.
So I got to figure out what I'm going to put in there.
Dude, you're gonna love it. I love the 8.
I'm stoked.
They're so nice. They're so nice.
Still on my bench downstairs is the 12 card mine shop one. Actually, so I'll tell you this. They're narrow. It's narrow, man. The slots on that, you can't be putting like.
It's the mine shop.
Yeah, I was almost like, you know what it would be absolutely perfect for is A2000s or A4000s. Like,
oh wow,
because it would give a good amount of space. But I don't know if you guys have them. I think the card that works really well in there is like the thickness of the Power Color Fighter 6600s or the Sapphire Pulse 6600s is like.
I have that one.
Yeah, those are like real nice. So because you can buy all this stuff now on Amazon for like, and the prices every day are just going down.
Yep.
So I was like, man, what do I want to do here? Because I don't have a nice collection of GPUs that are that right size to get in that case, but I'd also want to get some stuff in there. So I was like, do I just buy? I have, I think, 4 Power Color Fighters right now. I was like, do I just go on Amazon and buy the rest of them? Like what was that? eight of them? For like $400. $400.
You know what? I'm in the worst position. I need 4 more of these like right now.
I was like, I think I might just do that. And then have that experience of like 8 GPUs coming in an Amazon box. I don't know, that might be fun. So
do it.
Yeah, but I was thinking of, man, it would have been sick if I finally ever get these A2000s, or if I want to get more A4000s, because you know how those cards need the additional airflow, and it's just like perfect. They fit so nice in there. So I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with that, and then I gotta start working on my garage. So I got the service cable for 125 amps delivered. So I'm gonna bump that sub panel out there and the breaker, and then probably start slowly. Like probably just throw a 30 amp out there just to get some stuff slowly moving out there, because the basement is unbearable at this point. It's unbearably hot. It's like 98 degrees where the server cases are. Grow 10 stuff's still doing okay, but it's now sucking in from one side all of that hot air that those server cases are putting out.
Right.
So GPUs, some of them, the hottest one's 78 degrees right now, but also has a broken fan. And then there's all the other ones are kind of in the high 60s, low 60s. So I'm still doing okay, but I gotta get moving. So that's some of the stuff I got coming up. Hobbyist, nice. What about you? What do you got coming up?
As I walk back in at the exact time, I appreciate good timing. Perfect. Thanks for going. So for me, I've been getting a bunch of quotes on leveling out a lot behind my garage, up against the garage, to do 2 sheds, one for like, home stuff, and then the other one for crypto mining. And then I actually have to put my AC unit out there on it as well. So I've been getting a bunch of quotes for that, because it's actually like it falls off quite a bit. So I have like retention wall, it's got to get built and all that. So I'm like, I was tempted to pause the basement and do that, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, I need to finish this. So I've been trying to come up with some alternatives. Right now I'm good. Like from a heat perspective, like right now I've talked about at length, just like the AC Infinity I have in there. So I have 8 in there, and I have a mix of 6 and 8 inch, and I have all the 8 inch inline fans in the garage to actually swap them over and do the reducers on each side. So my goal is to get completely to 8 inch with the reducers. So I want to do that sometime soon. Like I need to do that sometime soon just to get that airflow running. Right now I have 6 of them on exhaust and only 2 of them on intake in that room, and that's doing pretty good. I decided it's springtime. We're here. So it's time, it's go time. So I'm like, all right. So now I'm doing all exhaust out. That room's about 90 now at all times, which is nice because like it's 90 there and it's 74 right here. So it's like it's bearable. It's hot in there, but it's not terrible. The one thing I am gonna do though, like I need to remove like the backings on the door. So all the stuff I want to do this year, just to get by, I am gonna put the AC unit back in my basement window just to keep the cold air like in my basement being fed, you know, with that and everything. So I just got to do all that summer and spring stuff that I need to get done, and this will kind of be but the nice thing will be is like that'll be 8 total 8-inch fans, which that's what is that? What do they do? That'll be 6,400 CFM on exhaust coming out of that room. So it's going to be a lot. And I think we'll make do. I mean, my electric bill might go up like $100 because I'm just exhausting all of that air out. But like that's kind of the, you know, that's the that's the downside of crypto mining. But yeah, it seems like we'll get by. I've also been looking at like instead of doing the shed thing, I've been looking at these like exterior. I think they call them like vertical storage sheds. They might be like 6 feet high or 5 feet high, and they're only a few inches deep, and they're more for like storing like outdoorsy type of stuff. So I'll throw a link here in our Discord. But they're like quarter sheds or something like that, and they're made of like metal or plastic or whatever. Or you could get some wood ones. So I don't want to spend too much money on it, but I might literally just flatten a very small patch of land like of that area and then put one of these out there, like a metal one, and then cut the shit out of it to put shutter fans on one side and intakes on the other. Maybe I've been talking with a few companies with ASICs and these other miners. I might do some of like the cooler setups where you could cut the coolers up in order to like pipe the airflow through. So it's in one of these like quasi sheds, but it's in a cooler then. So I'm like trying to think of that because like I was talking to my wife about it. And like the last thing I want to do is like tell sponsors or partners, I can't take your hardware because I can't support it. Like with a heat factor. And like, that's my concern is like, I want to be able to do this.
Tell them. You just unplug the other guys.
Yeah.
You just swap it up for the better ones.
Yeah. You know, you gotta keep rolling with it when you're on that roller coaster and things are going well. You know, keep it going, keep that momentum going. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm at 72 GPUs now, and so it's like I could probably hit 100, but 100 is going to be the max for this mining room, and that was my plan. I was like, I don't know that I could support any more than that. So once I get near that 100 mark, it's going to be like, what can I, you know, especially this time of year, what can I move around? Where can I put it? Stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just, this is very much a reality of like, damn, what is like the next 365 days going to look like? Yeah. Like if this is where we're at, I mean, you're in the same boat there, Mike. Like you're just kind of like, holy cow, like heat wise, you're talking about it. You move it to your garage, like, how much longer does that get you? So when do you start recycling cards out? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Just prepping for summer and spring, and you know this is the worst time to be a crypto miner.
Yeah. Plus, add on top of that what we were talking about earlier. We could be putting in all of this work, and then we have to turn off our rigs in June or July. Yep. If the merge happens according to the plan. So we'll see. What do you got going on there? ChumpChangeXD mining and crypto.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh man. Well, I was the only guy that didn't have mining or crypto. I was like, F it. I'm just gonna put both in there. I'm just gonna take what Max Voltage did. Brilliant. No, but the tall shed that you're talking about, yeah, I think I mentioned it a couple of videos ago. But I was thinking about building a shed myself out there. I have some metal left over from my crypto mining garage that was meant for the siding there, but the building inspector was a douche. He wouldn't let me put it on. He made me vinyl side the thing. So I'm like, all right. So I just got this pile of metal. So I want to be building a vertical shed, like basically just for the OCTOMINERS. Back half literally exhausts out, front half literally comes in, and then probably build like a lean-to of some sort coming like over it and in front of it, so it can't suck anything directly in. And then just basically screen the sides. That is my idea anyways. I just don't know where I'm going to put it. I might just go right out like the side of the house here and put it like against that side so I can just run the electrical right through the wall. But I don't know. it's kind of it's just up in the air. I don't know what I want to do because then, like you just said, Ethereum goes away. What do we do now? Yep. Now I just built this stupid shed that I can't use for anything else. What am I gonna do with it? Just freaking knock it down and be pissed. Yep. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, you're smart, man. You're smart.
And then this thing has been like, should I mess with this or not? It's like a universal GPU water block, and I'm like, I just want to water everything I have now because it's I'm a plumber. I don't know, dude. It hit my soft spot. As soon as I did the 3090s, I was like, man, this is it. Like, I just got to do it. But I was looking at water blocks for everything. They only make so many for certain cards, and it gets expensive, man. It's like $1,800 for like 10 water blocks. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I don't really want to do that because then you need radiators, you need pipe, you need fittings, and you like everything. It's just a pain in the ass, you know? So
you're a plumber. Build a whole custom setup.
Dude, I thought about
engineer it yourself, ties into multiple rigs, you know. Imagine all your rigs on one water block, one solution. Got a big ass tank, like that'd be awesome.
Never.
It would be sick.
It would be 100%. ROI never. Yes.
Oh my god, I know. I mean, you got to think about it, right? When you're running a pump versus like fans, does it equal out almost? Because you know what I mean. You're running how many fans? You're running how many pumps? You know. It kind of gets, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Yeah. But I am really curious, actually, if I do rip off the shrouds to the GPUs, put them in the server cases.
Yep.
How much electricity will I save by not running the GPU fans at all?
I have a video on that you can check out on my channel.
Do you really?
Yeah, I love that. I tested how much I didn't rip the shrouds off, but I just tested GPU fan speeds at different increments with a watt reading the wattage. And dude, it was interesting. I think I did it on the 12 card 6600 rig, and it added, like, when you put it all together, you know, like 100 watts or whatever it was for a whole rig. Then you multiply that by all the rigs you're running, and I changed my mind a little bit from going from running all the GPUs at 100% all the time to like, wow, I'm actually could probably save like 1,000 watts across my farm or more if I didn't do that. So yeah,
right.
But I'm curious to see how temps do for you ripping those off. Like, does it matter since it's going to go in the server case? Is it better than if you had the shroud,
less obstacles,
on it? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about.
Maybe I'll just leave them on. I'll put them all in, test it, and then take them all off.
Too, like, does the shroud in any way help the airflow get to the right points of the PCB? Or not, or does it just not matter? So I think I'm really curious to see what you come up with there.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
My guess is you see better cooling and lower watts without them. Just with the amount of air those OCTOMINER fans pumping through there.
It's insane.
The fans on the GPUs, I feel like, are doing very little, like, at the end of the day. So yeah.
Right. Well, it's kind of like having intake fans. Sometimes they just don't help. It's not, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's better to just have the passive air because the actual blades of the intake fan will throw off the intake, like just the normal air coming in. You know, it's not smooth anymore. So
you need that smooth air.
Whatever, that's it. But I think we're there, man. I think we're at the hour.
We did some extra credit tonight, so let's wrap
this
up.
What are we at? I don't even know. I haven't even been paying attention.
Hour 8 minutes, man.
Oh,
just because we got the band back together again. So
band's back together,
dude. Well, I appreciate all you guys being here. You're all awesome. Again, I guess we're gonna wrap up the Mining Roundtable episode 13. Yeah, good to have you back, Hobbyist. Congratulations again on your 50K, man. Hopefully everything goes well. And
I hope so.
Yeah, let's full speed ahead to 100 on both of your channels because you'll both be there real soon. It's awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
man.
So yeah, good having you, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.